Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of the shooting at Richneck Elementary School in 2023? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, including the timeline of the shooting, then offer my analysis. This case takes place in 2023 in Newport News, Virginia, at the Richneck Elementary School. This school has about 558 students in kindergarten through the 5th grade. On January 6, 2023, classes were being held as usual. The officials at the school received a tip that a 6-year-old boy, who has not been named, was in the possession of a firearm. The officials searched his backpack, but they did not find a gun. They did not notify the police about the tip. The 6-year-old boy continued on to his 1st grade class. His teacher was a 25-year-old woman named Abigail Zwerner. She was teaching about 16 to 20 students in her class on this day. At about 2 p.m., the 6-year-old boy produced a Taurus 9mm semi-automatic pistol, pointed the weapon at his teacher, Abigail, and fired one time. There was no physical struggle or fight of any kind before the shooting. Abigail was simply teaching her class at the time. The bullet passed through Abigail's hand and struck her in the upper chest. Abigail yelled out, I'm shot, call 911. She escorted her students outside of the classroom to get them away from the shooter as another staff member restrained the 6-year-old boy. Abigail made sure that all of her students made it out safely. She was transported to a hospital with life-threatening injuries. Her condition was upgraded to stable on January 8, and sometime in mid-January, she was released to recover as an outpatient. The 6-year-old shooter was taken into custody under a temporary detention order. The police said the shooting was intentional. The 6-year-old brought the gun to the school in his backpack. The gun had been legally purchased by his mother. At the time making this video, the police are still investigating. It's unlikely the boy will be charged because there is a presumption that any child under 7 is unable to form the intent to carry out an illegal act. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts in a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. Through an attorney, the 6-year-old shooter's family reported that he had an acute disability and was under a care plan. This plan included his mother or father attending school with him and accompanying him to class every day. The week of the shooting was the first time that a parent was not in class with him. The family said, quote, we will regret our absence on this day for the rest of our lives, unquote. Item number 2, there are many unanswered questions about how the boy obtained the Taurus 9mm pistol. An attorney for the boy's family said that the firearm was secured by a trigger lock and stored on the top shelf of a closet in the mother's bedroom. This, of course, is difficult to believe considering what happened in this case. A trigger lock would have prevented the gun from discharging. Maybe the 6-year-old boy had access to the key for the trigger lock, or perhaps the gun was never secured in the first place. Also, how did the gun get loaded? I find it hard to believe that a 6-year-old would know how to load a semi-automatic pistol. This leads me to believe that the gun was already loaded when he retrieved it. In Virginia, it is unlawful for a person to recklessly leave a loaded, unsecured firearm in such a manner as to endanger the life or limb of any child under the age of 14. This is a misdemeanor. Based on how the law reads, if a trigger lock was on the weapon, then it would not be considered unsecured. At the time making this video, the police are still investigating how the 6-year-old boy obtained the weapon. No announcement on potential charges has been made. Item number 3. The school officials missed an opportunity to stop the shooting after receiving the tip about the 6-year-old boy having a gun. They claim that they searched his backpack and couldn't find a gun. How big was this backpack? It was carried by a 6-year-old. I doubt it was the size of a Volkswagen or something. The type of Taurus 9mm pistol was not released, but the smallest 9mm that Taurus makes is over 18 ounces, unloaded, 6 inches long, and over an inch wide. I find it difficult to believe that any school official would fail to find a gun that large in a backpack if they conducted a proper search. I also wonder who supplied the tip and why that person did not contact the police. This makes me wonder if the 6-year-old boy was bragging to another student, and it was this other student who reported the boy to school officials. This explains why the police were never contacted. If an adult had known about the gun, one would think that they would have contacted the police and the school. Item number 4. The Washington Post communicated with several people connected to the school, for example, a teacher at the school, a spouse of one of the teachers, and a mother of a student who went to the school. When taken together, the reports from these various sources start to form an image of what the conditions were like at the school. It appears as though the school was in chaos. The teacher who was shot had repeatedly asked administrators for help with the 6-year-old boy due to his disturbing behavior. For example, she asked for help just 2 hours before the attack. There is no indication about what specific help the teacher requested, but there were many concerning reports about the behavior of the 6-year-old boy. For example, the boy told another teacher that he hated Abigail. He wanted to light her on fire and watch her die. He threw furniture and other items in class. Some students took cover beneath their desks in order to avoid being harmed. The boy barricaded the doors of a classroom, which prevented students and a teacher from exiting. A teacher banged on the classroom door to get the attention of another teacher from across the hall, who then forced the door open from the outside. It was reported that the boy was not receiving educational services he needed. He was difficult to manage during outbursts, and when he was supposed to be in class, the boy wandered around the school unsupervised. School officials downplayed the concerns about the boy's behavior. When Abigail requested assistance, she was told to drop the matter. Item number 5. A substitute teacher reported that she observed Abigail attempting to manage a class of about 25 to 30 children. This is more children than were in her class on the day of the shooting. It's not clear why there is a discrepancy in these numbers. The substitute said that on one occasion, Abigail had difficulty maintaining order in the classroom, but she was doing the best she could under the circumstances. The substitute teacher decided not to return to that school again. It was too disorderly. It sounds like Abigail simply did not have the support that she needed in the classroom. Item number 6. When a person initially hears about this story without all the details, they may be inclined to envision a situation where a student brought a gun into the school to show friends or something like that. While handling the pistol, the trigger was negligently pulled. But that's not what happened in this case. As I mentioned, the police said that this shooting was intentional. In addition, the 6-year-old boy had expressed an interest in murdering the teacher that he shot. He wanted to set her on fire. This appears to be a premeditated shooting, like the boy brought the gun into the school specifically to kill his teacher. It's astonishing that much hatred and malice could be accumulated by the age of 6, which brings me to item number 7. What will the future bring for the 6-year-old boy in this case? His behavior will probably not result in criminal charges for him, but clearly it doesn't point to a positive outcome in his life. It's not the best sign about what might happen. It's hard to know what the future brings because there aren't many cases that can be compared to this situation. There was, however, a case in the year 2000 involving a 6-year-old shooter. On February 29, 2000, a 6-year-old boy brought a .32 caliber pistol that he found in his uncle's residence to an elementary school in Mount Morris Township, Michigan. The boy shot and killed a 6-year-old classmate named Kayla Renee Rowland in the stairwell of the school. Because of his age, the boy was not prosecuted. The prosecutor for the county suggested that citizens should collectively hug the shooter. On April 23, 2012, when the boy was 18, he committed a home invasion, which resulted in him being convicted of a felony. It's almost like he could barely wait to get started on his criminal career. Moving to my final item, number 8, it appears as though a number of factors contributed to the shooting in Newport News, Virginia. One of those factors was the school not paying attention to warnings issued by teachers. Increasingly, it seems as though teachers and other school employees are in a tough position. If they deliver discipline to the students, parents complain and try to get them fired. If they don't deliver discipline to the students end up running the schools, and in some cases, shooting the teachers. There is this sense that the conditions in schools reflect how parents are not properly raising children. Everything bad that happens at home will eventually be expressed in school. I think that parents who complain to school officials about teachers providing too much discipline forget how the same discipline they are protesting against will protect their children from other children. Those are my thoughts on the Richneck Elementary School shooting. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.